In this video, I want to discuss all of the details for Modern Warfare 2 Season 1 launching on November 15th. We have details on the maps, weapons, operators, and much more, so stay tuned. This season is really needed, and thankfully it's very soon after release because at launch there's currently only 10 6v6 maps in the game, most of which are from Ground War / Warzone sections, so they're not specifically designed for 6v6. This isn't the greatest map selection for a Call of Duty launch. It seems like Infinity Ward have probably put all of their focus into DMZ and Warzone. Multiplayer seems like it's becoming an afterthought in most Call of Duties nowadays, with Warzone being the main thing that makes all of the money. It seems like they work on Warzone first and then the multiplayer second, and that is why so many multiplayer maps just so happen to be from Al Mazrah and Las Almas, which is probably going to be another Warzone map releasing in a year's time. There's even a map of it in the campaign. 6v6 multiplayer has been on the decline for a while now, with this game reportedly getting 2 years worth of DLC, with Treyarch's next game not being until 2024. It makes sense that there isn't much content on release because the developers want to space out their content so they don't bust their load all at once. So in that way, I guess this can be regarded as a good thing. And after all, the game has released in quite a glitchy state, so lots of people's games have been crashing, so maybe it's for the best that a bit of the other content is held back for when there's less crashes, and maybe if there was more content in the game on launch, there would be even more crashes. Even then, there's a bunch of features missing from Modern Warfare 2 that are typically there on release, so hopefully we get to see some of these features soon, especially with Season 1. Surprisingly, Modern Warfare 2 has launched with no hardcore mode in multiplayer, which has actually been renamed to Tier 1 now, which is annoying because it further adds to the stigma that hardcore requires more skill than core, even though of course a higher time to kill, not too over the top, is good for the skill gap. I guess this is what the higher up Infinity Ward game designers believe though, considering they basically made core like hardcore with such low time to kill and no red dots on the minimap before a UAV. Of course, this mode will have reduced health and limited HUD. Infinity Ward have confirmed that the reason Tier 1 isn't available on launch is because it's causing a lot of crashes, and it should hopefully be added in time or with Season 1. Again, this game definitely needed more development time with all of these crashing issues and so many basic features being gone as a result of them. In terms of the Season 1 content itself, negating stuff that should be in there on launch like hardcore, the first things first and the most exciting and biggest thing coming to Season 1 is of course Warzone 2 with the new Al Mazrah map, and also DMZ, standing for Demilitarized Zone, also played on Al Mazrah and will be a part of Warzone 2 itself. Both will be free to play, which is awesome. DMZ has the potential to be the next big hit. Of course, we've gone through that Battle Royale fad, and now it seems like the next fad might be these escape sandbox experiences, as DMZ is going to be a new sandbox escape mode similar to Escape from Tarkov. We got a preview of the mode's looting and tactical mechanics in the Alone campaign mission as well as in Spec Ops. I'm going to make a whole video soon dedicated to breaking down DMZ and everything we know, but for now, in summary, you fly down onto Al Mazrah in teams of 4, similar to Warzone. There's objectives and side things to complete across the map, as well as strongholds to get weapons, and AI is scattered all over. You can loot throughout the map. How you bring the loot into future games is by exfilling successfully at the end of the game, similar to in Spec Ops and Cold War Zombies. You'll be bombarded with a bunch of enemies, some with armor and juggernauts, whilst you try to escape. It does seem like there may be a nuke that you're able to call in DMZ as well, so there are going to be kill streaks. I don't know to what degree they will be accessible though. But yeah, if you've played Spec Ops or you've played the Alone campaign mission, you'll get a general gist of how this mode is going to function. I think Spec Ops is a really accurate display of how this mode is going to play out in terms of the looting and how the AI will be spaced across the map. Of course, those armored enemies are going to be very annoying, just like they were within the campaign. People's games have also glitched out, showing 5,000 price tags on weapons in the main menu. This is probably placeholder stuff for DMZ, as cash is going to be a big part of the mode, as there's apparently going to be some sort of trading system with weapons and items that's going to be quite in-depth. So I'm excited to actually play DMZ and see how this ends up functioning. The next massive thing for Season 1 is going to be coming in Season 1 Reloaded, so it's not going to be there on release, as Season 1 Reloaded is going to begin on December 14th. What this means is that Season 1 will probably last 2 months, considering Reloaded is exactly a month after it begins. Anyway, Season 1 Reloaded is going to be introducing raids, which are 3-player missions with complex puzzles to solve, so they might be akin to Zombies Easter eggs, but probably not as complex. This is going to be a mode within Spec Ops, and Season 1 Reloaded will see the very first episode of raids for operators to master. Infinity Ward did also release this statement regarding raids on Twitter, saying following the events of the Modern Warfare 2 campaign, each seasonal phase will advance our ongoing story, as old friends and new enemies tie up loose ends. So they seem to be alluding that raids is probably going to be to do with Shepard and Shadow Company, judging from this statement of tying up loose ends and old friends and new enemies. But yeah, this is going to be telling the post-campaign storyline, following on from the campaign. Right now we're getting one raid in season 1, and I wonder if we're going to be getting one raid per season, each one tied to the seasonal cinematic. It's possible that the campaign post-credit scene on a plane is sabotaged by Russian ultranationalists, the reboot of No Russian with Makarov, could be for a raid 2, unless this is just a teaser for the rumored campaign DLC in year 2, or potentially even Modern Warfare 3. But what do you think of No Russian potentially being a raid instead of a campaign mission this time? Or would you rather that be saved for a campaign mission? Spec Ops unfortunately has only received 3 missions at launch, all played on the Al Mazrah map too, so I'm hoping we will get more in season 1, but the only Spec Ops content Infinity Ward's confirmed for season 1 thus far is the first raid in season 1 Reloaded. Spec Ops is pretty decent. I actually like Spec Ops this year. I thought Modern Warfare 2019 Spec Ops was really underwhelming. The issue with Spec Ops in Modern Warfare 2 though is there's barely any content, and once again this comes back to what I was saying earlier about how it seems like all of the developers are just putting all of their attention into DMZ and Warzone, considering Spec Ops is literally just played on the Warzone map anyways, and even 6v6 multiplayer, a lot of it is just played on Al Mazrah, so basically Warzone is the building blocks for all the other modes in the game now. They work on Warzone first and then find a way to reuse Warzone content for the other aspects of the game. I would love to see survival mode come to Spec Ops because we already have a mission that is basically survival, but you can only play for 6 waves. Considering they have all of the groundwork for the mode in the game, I hope we get a fully fledged survival mode, but right now we have no word on it just yet. Before I continue with the rest of the video and the juicy information, I just have a quick sponsored message that I thought you should be aware of. This video has been kindly sponsored by Blood of Yamin, which is a stylish Metroidvania RPG where you can forge your own playstyle. Powered by the essence of a dead god, explore a gorgeous 2D world on the cusp of the Industrial Revolution, conquer powerful foes, and confront the unknown horrors lurking beneath the surface. Venture through and make your mark, set in a world where man has just learned to harvest the essence of a dead god, explore, collect, and slay your way across Yamin from a side-scrolling perspective. Along your journey, you'll brave the wilderness, which is packed to the brim with outlaws and monsters. You'll explore dense cities to shop, gather information, and begin quests to prepare for that expedition to the wilds. You'll learn new abilities to unlock dangerous areas and overcome the enemies that await you there. Join one of the 3 influential guilds and leave your mark for whatever cause you deem worthy. Uncover the mystery of Roshi, a god all but forgotten, and learn the dangers lurking beneath the world's surface. And when you are ready, brave the depths below for demanding high-end content that will push your skills and preparation to its absolute limit. You can add the game to your Steam wishlist via the link in the description, and they are also hosting a Kickstarter to raise money for the game's launch. Again, I will also leave a link to their Kickstarter down in this video's description if you would be generous enough to donate and help out with the indie developers. The game's main features include it being conversed with colourful characters, experiment with different weapons and spells, unlock mobility skills for further exploration and uncover secrets, utilize powerful combat abilities to decimate enemies, build a unique character through a variety of stats and abilities, navigate dangerous environmental hazards, solve complex environmental puzzles, craft helpful gear, add nourishing meals to aid in adventuring, loot equipment and gather components for crafting, employ fast travel to zip around the map and ease backtracking pains, explore a vibrant world featuring mystical forests, sprawling cities and harrowing depths. So yeah, with all that being said, check out all of the links below if you are interested for when the game eventually releases. Moving on, a huge thing for Season 1 is that Infinity Ward have also confirmed that there will be a new Battle Pass system that we don't have any details on just yet, and unfortunately the regular seasonal prestige system that we've seen in the past few years is back. We have no idea right now what this new Battle Pass system is or how it could work, so let me know down in the comment section down below any theories on how you think it could function. Now in terms of the maps, Infinity Ward has confirmed that there will be a legendary classic multiplayer map returning in Season 1. Judging from their statements, considering it's after they mentioned raids in Season 1 Reloaded, this map may come in Reloaded 2 and not directly on the Season 1 launch, but I'm not entirely sure. Their statement is a bit vague. They did also say that with Season 1 Reloaded on December 14th will be when Call of Duty Warzone 2 receives its first post-launch update. I'm not sure exactly what this classic map will be, but we already have a bunch of remade maps in Al Mazrah that'll probably be released as 6v6 maps at some point. For example, we have Rust from Modern Warfare 2. I doubt this will be in Season 1 though, since we just did get it in Modern Warfare 2019 too. There's also Terminal, High Rise, a remake of Newville featured in the first Call of Duty, and United Offensive. There is also a remake of Dome from Modern Warfare 3. We have Quarry that now has a lot of water in the center of the map, blocking camping spots. Furthermore, people have explored outside of the ground war maps to take a full look at Al Mazrah and found even more remakes such as Storm from Modern Warfare 2. Out of all of these maps, which do you think are most likely to come to 6v6? I think probably Terminal, Dome, or High Rise. Apparently shipments and shoot house have been found in the files too, although the shoot house map could simply be the one contained in Farm 18 or El Asilo, released as their own small maps, especially because the developers said in an interview before release that the Farm 18 shoot house is inspired from Modern Warfare 2019's shoot house, so it would make sense for us to get a few more smaller maps in the game for people to just grind out camos and challenges. Furthermore, Museum, a controversial map that many didn't like in the Modern Warfare 2 beta, is randomly not there on launch. Activision hasn't released any info on why it's been removed from the game, but I think it could be something to do with copyright or other legal issues with the Getty Museum in LA that the map is based on. Something similar to what happened to the Grand Prix map that had to be renamed to Crown Racetrack due to copyright with the F1. The map will hopefully return at some point in Season 1. Others have been speculating that they may be making changes to the map since many didn't like it when it was in the beta, and that could be why it's gotten removed, and when it returns it could be a lot better. Maybe they might have shrunken down some of these sections of the map. Speaking of copyright issues though, another map in the game, a Breensburg Hotel based in Amsterdam, may also be getting into legal trouble, as the hotel that it's based on issued this statement saying, "We have taken note of the fact that the Conservatorium Hotel is undesirably the scene in the new Call of Duty. More generally, we don't support games that seem to encourage the use of violence. The game in no way reflects our core values, and we regret our apparent and unwanted involvement." Honestly, that statement is really funny. I don't really understand it though, because surely this is just advertisement for the hotel. More people are going to check out the hotel because they've played it in Call of Duty. I guess their fear is that people might play Call of Duty, which is a shooting game, and then go there to shoot the hotel, which makes no sense. Yes, I think the game does glorify violence in some aspects, but the multiplayer is just so unrealistic to even feel like you are actually shooting. It's just for an adrenaline rush. People who like Call of Duty don't necessarily enjoy shooting in real life or violence in real life. This does seem like quite the boomer statement to me, and I don't think the game is necessarily encouraging the use of violence, especially not really multiplayer. I can see how there's some propagandized messages in the campaign, but the multiplayer isn't serious at all. It's just a complete cluster mess, nothing like real life. But it is so weird as to why Activision has been getting into so much legal trouble lately and not checking if it's legally okay to use these in real life locations. I do like that the game has used a lot of real life locations, as it makes the game feel more grounded, but of course you can't just copy exact architecture from certain buildings that people were paid to design without permissions. So I do wonder if someone at Activision's copyright department recently left, and that's why they've been letting all these issues slip through the cracks lately, when usually they double check every single asset in the game and be very strict in trying to avoid copyright issues. But lately it literally seems like every single week there's a new copyright issue with Call of Duty, whether it be a skin that they've stolen or a map. It just keeps happening over and over again. Unrelated, let's now talk about the weapons in Season 1. So, as you know, when players could play the campaign early access, there was a simple glitch in the game where you were able to access your Creator class and Gunsmith, and you were able to see all of the weapons in the game. In doing so, people found two weapons, that being the M13B and the Chimera, which is actually the Honeybadger. But then when the game fully released a week later, these weapons were nowhere to be seen in the game. So it seems like the M13B and Chimera will instead be DLC, probably releasing in Season 1, but technically they could be later. But yes, we are finally going to be seeing the Honeybadger return, a beautiful, beautiful weapon in handling. We also have a bunch of upcoming blueprints coming to the game that I'll be displaying in the background. We'll probably also get some vault weapons as bundles in the store with all attachments auto unlocked that'll probably be quite expensive. I don't know how much they'll charge for it, maybe $30, $40, God knows, but yeah, quite expensive I would imagine. And of course this will be just like the one you could get with the Vault Edition of the game, but many are arguing that this is going to make the game pay to win. If you don't need to grind out attachments, you can just buy the weapon, have all of the attachments unlocked, and you're immediately going to be winning against everyone else. I guess it's not exactly pay to win, but it's just paying to speed up the game since you're able to unlock these attachments anyways. It's just speeding up the game's progression, which yeah, I can see why people find it annoying. In terms of all of the blueprints that have leaks, there's a bunch of anime ones and a bunch of brightly colored ones, so yes, they are not holding back to realism this year. With Modern Warfare 2019, they didn't start releasing the anime and more brightly colored blueprints until the later in the game's seasons, as they were trying to stick to realism when the game first came out, but this time for Modern Warfare 2, they're ditching that realism aspect and they're just trying to have fun straight from the get-go. Of course, all of the blueprints I will be showing probably won't all be in Season 1, some will be later. We'll have to wait and see though, since we have no confirmation. We also know what the Season 1 operator is apparently going to be, and they are apparently going to be Zeus, and you can actually see them in the credits for Modern Warfare 2's campaign. We know this is going to be the Season 1 operator because Joel Emsley, the art director at Infinity Ward, said to check out the credits for the campaign to get a teaser for the next operator. I wonder if they're working for Shadow Company or if they're working with Makarov. We'll have to wait and see, but they'll probably be the main character featured in the Season 1 cinematic. In terms of modes, a lot of people have been disappointed because Gunfight isn't there on launch, but it will apparently be coming with Season 1, so we'll be getting some exclusive Gunfight maps to coincide with that. I'm hoping we get to see at least 3 Gunfight maps in Season 1 that we'll be able to play 2v2 on. Of course, there'll be different modes that we'll be able to play in Gunfight. There has been more modes that have been found in the files though, which are apparently Reinforce, Drop Zone, Gun Game, Infected, Uplink, Cranked, Cyber Attack, Team Defender, Grind, Rupture, which is apparently like the Onslaught mode from Modern Warfare 2019, and finally Demolition. I'm so excited to see Uplink back in this game. It was an amazing mode introduced in Advanced Warfare, and it'll play like how it did in Call of Duty World War II, where you didn't have an EXO. Of course, all of these modes won't be coming in Season 1, but we'll hopefully see 1 or 2 in Season 1. They'll of course spread out all of these modes throughout all of the seasons. I do wish the party modes, especially like Gun Game, were there on release. Prop Hunt will probably return as well. I hate how they hold back all of these modes to post-launch content. I feel like all these modes should just be there on launch, especially the party modes, as he said. The last thing I want to mention is regarding the Taskforce 141 operators, Captain Price, Farah, Soap, and Ghost, which are currently locked behind a paywall, as the only way to get these operators currently in the game is to buy the Vault Edition. And the skins also have these ghost masks on, so you can't even really see the characters. But in the campaign for the game, there's a bunch of beautiful skins for Price, Ghost, Soap, etc. And these skins will probably be released to the game as DLC, as bundles in the store, and also in the battle passes. I don't expect them to keep the Taskforce 141 operators locked behind the Vault Edition forever. This is probably just a temporary thing at launch, and hopefully with Season 1 we get some skins for those operators, because it's going to be annoying if we have to wait months and months if you haven't got the Vault Edition to be able to play with these operators, and especially because the skins are blocking their faces and people want to just be able to play with the classic characters, considering Ghost especially has a bunch of classic skins in the campaign that look awesome, but we can't use them in multiplayer. There is also no Kyle Gaz Garrick operator in multiplayer, so hopefully he gets added, and hopefully we see him in Season 1 and not later. Anyways, that's everything I wanted to talk about in this video. Lots to discuss. Thank you for watching the video. Make sure to subscribe if you're not here for the latest and greatest Call of Duty news and information. So anyways, thank you for watching, and bye.